I know as an adult sometimes it can be a challenge to make friends, and there's no exception when it comes to having kids and then trying to re-enter a friendship with new people who've had kids, or if your friends haven't had kids. And in a British newspaper, the Sun.co.uk, they reported 92% of British mums feel lonely despite having access to all of this social media. The lady who wrote the article said that she actually became friends with a mum who was so lonely and desperate that she was actually handing out personal business cards saying, "Call me, I need friends."
Oh, wow.
My goodness. At least she's proactive.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. But how do you feel about making friends, like, once you've had kids? Because you can feel really isolated, right?
Well, you know what, to be honest, I feel like having kids actually opens up an opportunity to make more friends. Having moved to a new country, I found it hard to break into friendship groups when people have already had established friends. But when you jump into that mom pool, it's like a new pool of friends that you can make. I think the hard part is that being a mom, sometimes it can feel very judgy. You can feel like, you know, as we talked about with the co-sleeping.
It can be intimidating.
Like yeah, so it might be hard to put yourself out there and be scared about what people will say.
I think that's the difficult thing, is getting out there, because, you know, especially a lot of new moms who find it really difficult to even leave the house. But once you do leave the house, you're right, there is an instant pool of friends that you could potentially have.
But it can also be exhausting, and you just don't necessarily mentally feel ready to get out there. You know you should, but sometimes being a new mum, you can be so exhausted, you're just not ready to face it yet. But also challenging.
But also what you're saying about judgment, definitely exhaustion is a big factor. But with judgment, I think sometimes, I mean, I'm not a mum, so I don't know, but sometimes it can be really hard to be vulnerable about what you're going through. And vulnerability is the key to deep connections. And I think you can have all the people around you in the world, but if you don't have deep, understanding connections with people, you're going to feel lonely.
I think that's so true, the idea of vulnerability. I'm in a mom's group online, and just yesterday, one of the moms, she has an 8-week-old, and she said, "I am really, really struggling." And she just put it out there, and I think probably about 20 people just jumped in and gave her support. But it's hard to put yourself out there and be vulnerable and say, "I'm struggling."
The article I read also went on to say that mums that see other mums looking really good at school and look like they're in that sort of cliquey group, it just is intimidating, and they don't feel like people approach them. And it even talked about different cultures, Muslim women feeling that not many people come up to them either to sort of connect with them. So it's not just, you know, it's a problem for everyone.
But I think, yeah, that's the problem, is because, you know, we always see and we always compare ourselves to other people and think that they're doing so much better. Why would they want to come and talk to us? But I think everyone, you may look all right, but I think we've all got our own struggles as well.
Yeah.
It is, but I think you're right. Like, it's really important to sort of show your flaws and be honest, because that's when you can actually connect and relate to other people.
Exactly. And I don't, not to take it too much off being a mum, because I know how difficult that must be. I don't know how difficult that must be, rather. But I don't think it's restricted to that. I think just coming to that adult space, I know personally, sort of, you know, when you're in school, you just have friends. It's like a given. And then sort of transitioning to adulting, I don't know, can be difficult in itself, because I think there also is that, you know, striving for having a good career and striving for all these, like, new things that do take away that vulnerability as well. So I think, yeah, just being aware of it is really important, no matter what stage you're at.
It's true, because most of my good friends, like, I'm thinking of the really close friends, right, are the ones that I've made in school.
Wow.
And like the ones, I have friends as an adult, but it's just not as deep.
Right, okay.
But it might just be because of time as well, because, you know, we spend this many number of years together.
And you would have invested a lot of time in the front end when you were in school with those people.
Yeah.
Rach, you were saying before, like, you were on Facebook, you're on a group of mums, but what's another way that, like, mums can actually sort of reach out? I guess you can put out your own personal business card. Like, I know there is a website called Playdate Australia, and they refer to it as Tinder for parents.
Oh, gosh.
But they say that's a way, if you're lonely in your area, try and connect with people in your community. So they're trying to, you know, gather a whole heap of mums on there. But is there any other ways that you can think of?
You know,
you go.
I was just going to say, I think sometimes we're always expecting things to happen, and sometimes we have to create the situation that we want, and maybe handing out your business card isn't the smartest way to do it. But I think reaching out to other people, and you'll probably be surprised at how many other people would be receptive to it and who want community.
Definitely.
And I think if you just bring your child to the park, the number of times I've gone, I just bring him to the park and people come up and talk to you.
You just strike up a conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, look, you can always connect with us here at the table. We're happy to have you chat to us. We're happy to support you and vice versa.